This is Angelica here to present my case study for the course. So, my participant was Teresa Santos. I've included some photos of of her so that you are able to kind of visualize as I go through the second language acquisition kind of process with you. So, Teresa's background, so she's from Reynosa, Mexico. She lived a very carefree life. Her Most of her life is was surrounded with family, relatives, and that was pretty much the center, of her life. They enjoyed food together. One of her favorite pastimes was going to the park, that a neighborhood park that she referred to as La Placita. Um, when she was younger, this was her favorite, pastime. Um, so at the age of 4 is when, things took a turn. This was when her family decided that they were going to come to the United States from Mexico. Although she was only 4, she remembers making the move and feeling unsure and scared, but unable to fully comprehend what was happening. So her mother actually went to school in the United States, and her father speaks. Um, he speaks Spanish but can understand English. So um, personally, I felt that she, was already a step ahead of most future bilingual students. And as she arrived in the United States, of course, they placed her in bilingual classes, which were taught in part English and part Spanish. So after, Miss Santos was exited from the bilingual program, she finished high school and is currently working on her bachelor's degree, excuse me. So, to continue, she is looking forward to working with bilingual students when she finishes her degree in May. All right, so her second language acquisition. So, like I said before, she was immediately placed in bilingual classes upon arriving to the United States. These ESL classes were taught in partially English and partially in Spanish. This is where she noted that she struggled the most. Um, the transition between English and Spanish classes were difficult for her because it was a new experience. She, was being immersed in something that, she had never had any experience with before. Her teachers were patient and understanding and always willing to help. She spoke very highly of them, and the biggest factor I think in all of this was that her mother was overly involved um, and often brought supplemental aids to assist her with learning the new language. Okay, so I use TELPAS rating simply because I had more experience with that than the solemn. So for each category, I rated her as advanced high because she is very comparative to a native English speaker. So if you look at the example that I gave, I talked about a conversation I had with her and used the words epiphany and reciprocal. So, my justification for giving her this advanced high rating was that during our interview, that was well over 15 minutes, she was able to actively listen, um, form these thoughts, and then, you know, be able to have a conversation with me. There was no need for me to slow the tempo down, explain any vocab, none of that. She was able to actively and effectively participate. So, the next category is the reading. As I said before, I labeled her as advanced high. And as you can see, I'm going to let you listen to her recording that I had her send to me.
toss a penny toward the happy couples. When I needed a new jacket and my mother asked what kind I wanted, I described something like biker's wear, black leather and silver studs with enough belts to hold down a small town. We were in the kitchen, steam on the windows from her cooking. She listened so long while stirring dinner that I thought she understood for sure the kind I wanted. The next day I got home from school, I discovered draped on my bedpost a check.
As you can see, there is no stuttering over words. She's very confident in her reading. Her enunciation of each syllable is there. And she definitely shows success with smoothly pronouncing words and determining the appropriate syntax of sentences ahead of time. And, she's confident in her reading skills. So, her speaking skills. So, whenever I was interviewing her, I asked her about her culture, and as you can see over here is where I copied her response. So it says, "My family's culture follows a very traditional Mexican heritage. For instance, we hold pride in family gatherings. Any opportunity that we have to get together at my grandparents' house, we take full advantage, and it turns into a big party." So Teresa exhibits a well beyond advanced high ability to speak in English. As you can see, she is confident. As I've said before, her ideas are clear, they're concise, and the listener has no trouble comprehending what she's trying to say. And lastly, with the telepath rating for her writing, I gave her a advanced high. So I had her write me a paragraph about her favorite hobby, which I copied and pasted here for you. And as you can see, her sentence structure is dynamic. Her ability to write precisely to the subject is, beyond success, and her words and thoughts come together fluently, and there's no confusion on her ideas. So some of the concepts that I took away from the course and was able to apply to my case study was a sociocultural theory, and this is where interaction is necessary in order for the learner to be successful. So I have a quick video for you.
There are two forms of interaction with SC theory: intrapersonal and interpersonal. Intrapersonal is any interaction within the person, such as inner speech or private speech. Interpersonal is any interaction that is done between another person or a group. Another key aspect is zone of proximal development, or ZPD. ZPD says that the learner is the blue circle in the middle. This represents what he knows. Now the bigger circle is potential knowledge the learner can achieve if he receives help from an expert or someone more knowledgeable. One other element to SC theory is scaffolding. Scaffolding is assistance students receive to help them with learning. So, how does this help with instruction? Come to TESOClass.com to see how today.
So, with that being said, continuously throughout the first interview process, Teresa noted that her teachers often found various teaching strategies that fostered learning and encouraged them to speak to each other throughout the learning process. She recalls several occasions where her teacher required them to think, pair, share, and if you're familiar with that, that requires interaction amongst peers. And so, although she had some difficult times, her teacher's ability to create a positive climate in the classroom helped to ease, the anxiety of learning the new language. So, in the video, interpersonal communication was brought up, and I thought this was super important, even with just regular students, whether or not they're learning a new language, being able to conversate with your your peers and discuss, the content in the class. That is essential to learning. And like I said, and not just to a bilingual student, but for any student, you have to be able to talk about your thoughts, and put your thoughts into words. Really being able to express yourself shows a different level of comprehension. And lastly, I wanted to talk about motivation. Again, not only does this apply to bilingual students, but it also applies to every student. In the classroom. In life, we have to have motivation. It's a critical component, to success. And not only did, Miss Santos have her mother behind her, motivating her, pushing her. She was motivated herself because